also here with us ready to answer any of your questions throughout the webinar. I'm really excited to be your host today and to welcome Jeff White for what is sure to be a great webinar. But first, in case you're not as familiar with Surefire Local and who we are, we're located in Northern Virginia, and our all-in-one local marketing platform helps small businesses attract customers, grow profits, and maximize efficiencies. Our mission here is a simple one: to educate local businesses on a wide range of topics to help you succeed in your business. We want to know who you are too, so let us know where you're joining us from today. You can do that by using the chat feature in the control panel. 2 quick reminders before I pass things over to Jeff. Everyone will get the recording of this chat in an email tomorrow, and while you're listening to today, feel free to ask Jeff questions in the chat box, and he will answer them for you at the end of his chat. Because you're on the webinar with us right now, there will be one attendee who will be taking home a free Google Nest Hub that we'll be giving away at the end of the webinar. Again, today I'm excited to have Jeff White, Director of Customer Success at Surefire Local. He's excited to share the steps you need to increase your business's voice search readiness score and to ensure customers can find you. He put together a really great presentation for you, so with that, I will pass it on over to Jeff.
Thank you, Amanda, and thanks everyone for joining today. What I want to start us off with is this slide, but also there was a previous slide where we say if you want to dominate locally and have unlimited revenue growth, it all starts with education like this presentation and, in a word, a plan, right? And your plan needs to understand how Google works and how people search today. The right plan and also the right partner can help you lead to what we like to call unlimited growth. And Surefire Local Marketing Platform is a critical part of our clients' marketing plan and simplifies their online marketing so that they can focus on running their business and grow profitably. The key is to understanding how Google works and search trends. So we're going to peel that back a little bit today and talk about voice search, obviously. And this is a pretty impactful stat to start us off, which is that 73% of your potential customer engagement happens off of your website. Key point here is that your website is just a part of your overall digital footprint and constellation. You need to understand that there's a lot of activity happening even before customers get to your website. And so when we talk about voice search today, it's a matter of understanding what it is, how important it is to you, and then what to do. And so we're going to cover that today. And so, voice search is an up-and-coming trend, but there are also others. It all maps to being prepared and what are the specific things you need to do. And we see it kind of in our day-to-day lives, whether it's in our car, on our phone. We're starting to see this. So what should a local business do? So we'll first start with just a basic definition. And basically, voice search happens when you say a query or a command out loud to a virtual assistant or a device. The assistant then recognizes the voice command, goes off, does its query and analysis, and then comes back with ideally the information that you're looking for. And it happens in a couple of different ways, right? So from a device standpoint, it's whether it can be on your phone, it can be on your laptop. There's different players such as Alexa, Google Home, again, whether it's your car, your watch, your thermostat. I mean, it's very prevalent. But that search experience is going to be different with voice than traditional search, such as on your laptop, in terms of the results presented. And we're going to get into what drives those results. But again, the big names, Google, Siri, Alexa, Cortana, these are the devices and the ways that voice is proliferating. We're seeing that voice search adoption happens with a younger crowd, households with children, and then households with income greater than 100,000. And that's just to kind of give you some perspective of who's using it. And we're up to the point where 1 in 5 people are using voice search on a regular basis. With that said, what we need to do is just kind of pause and go back to what I always like to say is, how does Google work? And this slide basically sums it up. For a local business and what local ranking factors, what drives local ranking factors revolves around these 5 points. So recency, proximity, relevance, prominence, and availability. And so when we talk about recency, it's about that digital footprint that your local business represents, and how fresh is your content. So whether that's your website, whether that's on your social sites. Proximity, when we talk about proximity, we're talking about when somebody is doing a search, where are you physically in relation to that searcher? That is going to be a main ranking factor. Relevance, so that's related to you as a business from a brand search or the services that you provide from a non-brand search phrase. And then prominence. So prominence deals with, basically how much of a brand presence do you have in your market? Are you an authority on your particular service or services? And is that demonstrated on your website, on your social site? That's an example of prominence. And then rounding it out, availability. Are you open? So that's certainly going to play a factor in terms of whether or not Google wants to present your business on its search results page. Google would rather serve up links to businesses that are open when Google's customers, the person searching, is looking for a local business. The other kind of basic thing as we set the stage for this presentation is also aware of that traditional marketing funnel and how people are interacting with your brand or making their way to you in terms of that bottom of the funnel of where they're picking up the phone and calling you or filling out a form on your website. Voice search touches upon this customer journey, your customer journey, in terms of being higher up that funnel and doing the things that are necessary to be present and to be present where your potential customers are, so that once they do make their way through their customer journey and decide to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm going to call you or I'm going to fill out a form on your website, they're doing so more easily, meaning that your bottom of the funnel conversion rate is better than your competitors because you are doing higher funnel activities more actively, doing it and doing it better, and voice search is a part of that. So, we talk about a new era of intent marketing, and so that's where that understanding that funnel is important. And as search is evolving, what we're moving away from, or what I think we find people are kind of hanging on to as an older tactic, is that it's about the keywords. Do I have the right keywords? Well, based on voice search and how people are using voice search, it's not about keywords, but rather it's about questions. And so what you as a local business need to do is you look at how you present yourself online and across your digital footprint. Are you keyword focused, or are you answering questions focused? And that's sort of the high level shift you need to have in your mind as you look at everything that you do digitally. And one of the important facts I like to point out is that today, a keyword does not need to exist on a page for that page to be returned for a search result where that keyword is used. Another way of saying that is that Google is smart enough today to understand the information on a page and what it's about. So it doesn't need keywords to help. Keywords are certainly still part of the equation, but point is that search has evolved enough today where Google's smart enough to digest that page, the words, the images, and then something called structured data that we'll be getting into to understand. And so that again is another kind of important thing to understand of where we are. So are you ready? From a voice search readiness standpoint, what does that mean? And it's interesting in that studies have shown that 96% of businesses had errors or missing information across Google, Yelp, and Bing. And so we call these the big three, from a directory standpoint. And quite a significant number in terms of 96% of businesses just not having their information up to date, accurate, consistent across these big three. So in a nutshell, that's what voice readiness means. The other thing that we know is that what Google does is Google will take a local business's Google My Business listing information, the details about your business, and we'll compare it to 30 online directories. And then if your business information is accurate and consistent, that's a good signal to be sending Google. If your information is inconsistent, then that's a bad signal. And if your information is incorrect, that's even worse. So that's an example of being voice ready. And we'll again dive into this a little bit deeper. And so these large sites of Google, Yelp, and Bing also feed some of these devices that we've mentioned. So having your information up to date on them is critical. So let's take a moment to talk about structured data. We'll come back to it at points during this presentation, but structured data lets Google and other web platforms automatically read your site and directly pull product data from your website. And there's a standard, and it's defined at this schema.org site. But essentially what it is it's a wrapper that's placed around certain types of information. So your business information or reviews, as an example of two different types of information. Recipe is another type of information where when you wrap it in structured data or schema, what you're doing is you are helping Google understand understand the information faster. And Google simply says thank you. If you're using structured data, you're helping Google help its customers. So that's what you need to know about structured data. You definitely need to be doing it in order to have that healthy digital footprint. And again, we'll kind of drill into that. For our customers, and what I have up on screen is a screenshot of the Surefire local marketing platform, where we have this directory listing details, where through directory listing services, we are managing structured data for our customers and across multiple different online touch points. So Google My Business as an example, and then ballpark 60 plus other online directories of where we're locking and loading that business information to keep it consistent. So Google says, not only is this business information correct, but it's consistent. And as it relates to voice search, again, Amazon Alexa, for example, is part of this network. And that's where we're able to, again, for our customers, keep this all in order in terms of all that directory listing information. And so when we talk about your voice readiness, it comes down to how effective are you at optimizing your online presence. So it's a pretty big job if you're doing it yourself. We do it for our customers day in and day out, but we definitely leverage tools that allow us to do this successfully and at scale for the hundreds of customers and the thousands of locations that we manage. So when it comes to your business information, the most important information, when it applies to voice search, is around something that we call NAP, N-A-P, and that stands for your business name, your business address, your business phone number. And so, here's this list of that NAP related information. Again, so it's your address, but it's also your hours, your phone number, again, your business name, but your website address, your zip code, and there's other kind of elements related to your business information that fall into that structured data or schema opportunity to make sure that you're helping Google understand who you are, as far as your name, where you are, as far as your location, how to get in contact with you, as far as your phone number. So let's walk you through, a checklist to see if you are ready or if you need to get ready for voice search. So again, let's talk about directory listings. You can do this yourself, right? So there's the big three. You can go to Google My Business, and we'll walk you through, what that is for Google My Business, Yelp, and Bing. We do it for 60 plus different online directories, and that's ultimately what you want to go for, because even though we have these big three, it's, according to Google, 30 online directories that Google's looking at and comparing your Google My Business listing. So let's start with what it takes. So with Google My Business, you want to claim your listing, and that's a pretty straightforward thing to do. You can just do a brand search for your business, and if you haven't claimed it, there will be a link that says, do you own this business? Just click that. Google will walk you through that process. You can incorporate elements of your Google My Business listing on your website. Google loves local businesses and is continuously adding functionality. You can use your Google My Business Q&A functionality to create FAQs. And of course, you want to be actively asking for and managing your reviews that come through Google and are displayed on your Google My Business listing. And then what Google will do is start to feed some of these devices that are driving voice search. So whether it's Google Assistant, whether it's Siri, and then also mold the search results based on some of this structured data. So your reputation or your star rating is going to affect the results for people that are using voice search to look for, the best roofer near me, as an example. Similar process with Yelp. Same thing, you can search for your Yelp listing, claim it, and go through the steps that Yelp has so that you can get into your listing and edit it, manage it. And then Yelp will start to feed devices such as Alexa and Siri with your most up-to-date information. And again, having that nailed down can help you out. Similar thing from Bing, and Bing is feeding Cortana from a voice search standpoint. So that's directory listings, a quick run through there. The next big point to understand content. It's kind of obvious, content is important, but according to Google, content is the #1 ranking factor. So some things to keep in mind is that, when you're creating content, you want to keep your message simple. You do want to have an understanding of how people are searching. So, it's still keyword research, but it can lead to some, instead of sort of basic keywords, some more deeper or longer tail keywords and or questions that people are asking. This can lead to you developing the content on your website, on your social sites, on your directory listings that can speak to these searches and these questions. And again, an FAQ page is a way to demonstrate common questions and their answers. An FAQ page can lead to Google getting it picked up as a featured snippet and grant you much more real estate on that search results page. And as mentioned, long tail keywords just mean kind of deeper content. So you want to make sure you are creating and providing robust information on your website as opposed to kind of surface level type of information that's kind of shorter keyword focus as opposed to more deeper information, descriptive and longer tail keywords. So, as it relates to voice search and how search is evolving, one important thing to note is that, there's a difference between how people type and how they speak. So, again, take a look at your digital footprint and your content from that standpoint. Would you write, content for, a roofing service page differently based on sort of describing the service versus how your prospective customers are coming to you and asking questions about a roofing service? And then, because ultimately what Google is looking to do is to match answers to a person's search query or intent. What are they trying to do? So they may need a roof replacement, but they may be asking some questions that are leading to the fact that they need a roof replacement. And so it could be, more related to hail damage, or a storm came through, or, the age of my roof. So that's examples of, questions or types of information that are surrounding a core topic of roof replacement or a main service that you provide. And so to have dedicated pages specific to these different topics is a website best practice. And to, again, branch out your content on your website, and then what you're also talking about on social sites and other digital footprint touch points, so that you're casting a wide net instead of talking about one particular service or focus too much on one keyword. And so blog articles, local pages, category pages, these are all ways where you can create deeper content silos on your website to have a much stronger website presence. And so with that, we get into, how can your website help you from a voice search standpoint? And so again, what we get into is a bit structured data, but we also talk about website speed. So a majority of searches, and this certainly affects voice search, but a majority of searches are done on mobile devices. And so the whole idea of speed, the speed of your website, the speed of your pages on your website, the speed of you responding to a customer's inquiry on your website or on your Google My Business listing, speed is increasingly important along with that structured data, meaning that your website is designed and created and managed in an ongoing manner from best practice standpoint as it relates to structured data. So you want to have clear definitions of your products, clearly defined where you're located, things like that. Sitemaps is another standard best practice of making sure that that's created and submitted to Google. This is where, again, you yourself could certainly do this through Google's free tools such as Google Search Console. However, if you've got time to do that, that's great, but you should be focusing on your business and letting the experts kind of deal with this. You also want to have high quality content on your target pages from the standpoint of including images, video, and what we're ultimately looking for is to increase the time on page. That will send a signal to Google that the content on your page is higher quality than other websites because website visitors are spending more time. And so again, mobile is important, and so that just needs to be consistent regardless of the device, of whether it's desktop, laptop, or mobile, in terms of how your website performs. So I don't want to get too much into this slide, but just as an example of kind of, again, how things are evolving. But what can be done is that actions can be programmed so that they can map to certain things that businesses do. So app actions can let users launch specific features, so kind of real geeky kinds of things, but just as an example of how voice is evolving and what to be on the lookout for in the future. So if we take it back to you and how to improve your voice search readiness score, let's go through some things. So what you definitely want to do is start with Google and your Google My Business listing, and to make sure that that is up to date as much as possible. You also want to make sure that your Google My Business listing is being fully utilized. So I had mentioned that Google is consistently rolling out new features and functionality within Google My Business. So you want to be A, aware, and then B, making sure that you're using it. Google My Business Q&A, Google My Business posts are examples of functionality that's there that Google is giving for free to local businesses. And the more you utilize that, It's an example of Google saying, hey, not only is this business actively using their Google My Business listing, but they're creating content, and you're basically taking advantage of real estate that Google is giving away. You don't have to pay for it like you do with paid ads, but your content can show up on that search results page if you're taking advantage of that. Don't ignore Yelp and Bing. So again, look those up, claim them if you haven't, and then same thing, make sure that they're up to date and accurate. And then my personal recommendation is to leverage software. So that's where for our customers, we do leverage our software and directory listing software, so that it's not just 3 directories, but it's 60 plus different online directories where we're able to control the information that is on Google, Yelp, and Bing, but again, 60 other online directories as well. The fact that there are so many businesses out there that just are not consistent across their business information on directories, that is a huge opportunity for improvement and a competitive differentiator. And having that accurate information as it relates to your hours, where you're physically located, if you have more than one location, again, that is clearly listed and defined and accurate, and then how to get in touch with you. And then rounding it out from a content standpoint, having in mind that people are using voice to search for you or services that you provide, and have your content reflect that. So as a recap, what have we learned? So voice search readiness is, again, a golden opportunity for you to be reaching more local customers. It's just a matter of kind of knowing what it is, how important it is, and how to do it. So we've touched upon where to go and to do that with the big 3, as well as a more comprehensive dive across 60 plus online directories if you want to do that, which again we highly recommend. That accurate business information is a foundational element of our program and service that we provide, and so more directory listings that are accurate and consistent is better, and that is going to lead to a better overall voice search readiness score, and that's going to help move you to the top of local voice search queries. And again, the fact that only 4% of local businesses are voice search ready, that's something to take advantage of. So I hope that helps as far as kind of teeing up the topic, and then again how we can help and how we help our customers. And we do that through software that speaks to these trends as it relates to voice search, as well as an educational standpoint. So whether or not it's this presentation, but when we are working with our customers, we're making sure that they understand these trends, and that from a sort of ongoing account management standpoint, everything is connected and is working as it should, whether it's on Amazon Alexa, Google Home, Apple Siri. We're constantly testing, probing, and making sure everything is accurate and working as it should. Same thing when it comes to your website in terms of how that's being actively managed. Businesses that think they can create a really good-looking website and invest in kind of content production for that brand new website launch and then leave it, that's a missed opportunity. So you've got to actively manage it, and then make sure that your website is being cultivated along with the rest of your digital footprint, which consists of the online directories, and to help out with how you're doing from a voice search standpoint. And then where do you go? I mean, again, you can go to Google, you can then go to Yelp, you can then go to Bing, but do you want to then go to those other 60 online directories? You can, but the idea of sort of rolling it up in a centralized place where it's all there for you to log in to see and then to do things that help improve your digital footprint is what the Surefire Local Marketing Platform can do to you, can do for you. So with that, we'd like to kind of round it out and see if there's any questions.
All right, thanks, Jeff. That was a lot of great material, and I hope everyone was able to learn something new today. And if you're wondering if you'll get this presentation, you will in an email tomorrow, so look out for that. Now, before I announce the winner of the Google Nest Hub, I want to offer everyone the chance to learn more about how Surefire Local can help you and your business. This is a really great opportunity to explore how you can take advantage of the latest innovations in marketing technology to streamline core business processes. I just launched the poll now, so please take a moment to let us know if you're interested in joining a call with Surefire. And if you say yes, we will be in touch after the webinar with next steps. All right, so now I will be moving on to today's giveaway, and the lucky winner of the Google Nest Hub is Michaela Reynolds. Congrats, Michaela. Please email marketing@surefirelocal.com with your full mailing address, and we will be sure to ship that out for you. As we bring today's webinar to a close, again, a huge thank you to Jeff for leading today's talk and to all of you for taking the time out of your day to join us. We hope you learned something new. Please take a minute to fill out the survey at the end and let us know how we did today and what topics you would like to hear about in the future. We love checking out the topics you suggest when we plan our future webinars. Thanks, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.